Take a look at this courtyard. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm in a Swedish sauna. It's timber on timber on timber, and it might have looked fresh when it first went in, but now it's faded, plain, and bland. But don't sweat it. See what I did there? I'm going to freshen this thing up with my favourite colour, green. Green walls have been around for quite some time now, but they are really expensive. I mean, ones that I've done have costed between $1,200 and $1,500 per square metre. So I want to do something that's a bit different, and it has to be affordable. I also want to do something that can be adapted to all types of walls. And it starts with this pot here. Now, the problem I have is we've got a boxy courtyard, and this pot is also boxy, so I want to add in some nice natural curves. The easiest way to do that is to cut them out of a piece of ply. So I'm going to use this jig. That means we can mark out our ply, cut it all out, and we'll have a top and bottom piece. With our top and bottoms cut out, we now need to fit the pot in. So with this, I just turn it upside down, and I'm going to draw around the outside. I'll chop it out with a track saw. If you don't have one of these, you can use a jigsaw. Now, a handy tip when you're marking this out, cut it just on the inside of the line. That way the pot's not going to fall straight through. Cut a hole in the top and the bottom piece of our planters. Now, that isn't a mistake. What I want to make sure is we've got drainage through our pots. Otherwise, they're going to fill up, they're going to be too heavy, and our potting mix is going to stagnate. A moment of truth. Perfect. Now, I don't want the ply to be our only structure here, so I'm actually going to build a little cradle, which is going to help support our pots. It's as simple as that. Once that's done, I'm going to build the rest of the frame, which is going to give us the shape to the planter. You'll notice the last bits of my frame have got an angle cut on them. That means this planter's going to sit flush against the wall, and it gives us something to stick our sheet metal to. Before we get into cladding this, I'm just going to pop a screw in each bit of timber to give it some strength and longevity. You can see the shape of our planter box. Now, I could clad this in absolutely anything. We could do a hardwood picket, we could even just do some ply and paint it. But I want to break up all the timber we've already got. So I'm using a sheet steel in a nice glossy white finish. That's just going to give it a nice contemporary look. I'm going to glue this down and clamp it all together. Our glue's dry, and I take off our clamps. Now, the last stage for these planter boxes is to put a bead of glue along here and on all the bits of timber, and we'll stick our final piece of ColourBond down. And that's the last stage. We've got our drainage holes in, and to get these into the courtyard and up on the wall. So how's this all going to work? Well, we're not going to have just one planter. We've got about half a dozen, and we're going to stagger them all the way over this wall so the plants can drip down. I want to mount them in a very special way. We're using these brackets. They tie in with the cradles that we've already made, and that's going to give us a flush, contemporary, professional finish. On this wall of our courtyard, all our plants are going to be hanging down, and on the wall behind me, they're going to be growing up. So I'm going to put some climbers in those two pots. To keep the mesh off the walls, I'm going to use these simple biscuits, and then that way, the climber's going to grow up in this galvanised mesh. We're now on to my favourite part, which is the planting. And there's an old saying, get the right plant in the right spot and it's going to do well. And there's a few things we need to consider here. We don't have much soil space, so it's going to dry out quickly. Our sunlight's quite dappled. We get a little bit of midday sun, so we need something that can take sun, but mainly shade, and the perfect plants for that are Rhipsalis. Because we're trying to cover a wall, we can either go down or up, and Rhipsalis are perfect for hanging down. We've got a combination of greens and blues. I'm just laying them out here to see how they play together, and then I'm going to pot them up. The climbers I'm using for these pots are a star jasmine. That's a really hardy plant. It's got this lovely dark green foliage that's going to quickly get up over our mesh, and lovely white flowers that match with our planters. It's nice and fragrant too, and that's going to travel into the house. Well, doesn't this look absolutely incredible? And you know what? It's hardly cost me any money. The materials were $500, and you can just use as many plants as you want. You could take this concept and put it on any wall with any planter. We've taken what used to look like a sauna and turned it into a green oasis.